panel. First, a lady whose syndicated society column appears in the World Journal Tribune and newspapers from coast to coast, Miss Susie Knickerbocker.
And next, a gentleman that I didn't find in my Christmas stocking, so I'm glad I found him tonight. Martin Gable.
We're lucky in our house this year that Christmas comes on Sunday night because my wife, Arlene, is playing all during the week in the Broadway hit Dinner at 8. So here she is, free at last. Arlene Francis.
I thought maybe you'd forgotten my name.
Just wanted to make you nervous.
And now a gentleman who is in himself a Christmas present, our time cover boy, Mr. Bennett Cerf.
We almost didn't have our panel moderator with us tonight because at a Christmas party yesterday, he threw a frozen custard at our director, Franklin Heller, and Heller had him arrested for carrying a congealed weapon. But we sprang him, and here he is, our boy moderator, John Charles Daly.
Whee, as we say. Bennett also told me a little bit ago he got a letter. Says that my cuffs never show, so I was going to come in with the cuffs showing. See, like this. But he shocked me so that the shirt cuffs went right back up my sleeve again with that congealed weapon. Well, thank you very much, Martin and Susie Knickerbocker, for being part of our panel tonight. It's good to have old friends with us, particularly at this time of year. And because you're here, we'll have some celebration, and you can all put your masks on, because there are reasons which are good and sufficient why you should do so. Now, as you put them on, I will tell you that what we are concerned with here is that either some element of dress or perhaps even the possibility that one or more of you might have an area of recognition has caused us to do this. We are really just trying to guard the occupation that we're bringing in, but we want to guard it as closely as we can. We'll also have a famous mystery guest before the panel a little bit later in the program, but right now let's meet our first contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? All right, nice to have you here with us. I've explained that we're not going to talk about anything, where you came from, what your name is, or anything else whatsoever, but we will let the audience at home and the audience here in the theater know exactly what your line is. Now, panel, we can tell you that our guest is salaried and deals in a service, and I think we might start things off with Susie Knickerbocker.
Do you work for a profit-making organization?
No.
That's 1 down and 9 to go. Mr. Gable.
Do you work for the state or federal government?
Yes.
Is your occupation in any way, is your presence here tonight related to the season of the year in any way?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Francis.
Are you elected to office?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Are you wearing at the present time a costume other than ordinary day attire?
Yes.
Do I go on? or-
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Would this be a costume that we would recognize if we didn't have these blindfolds on?
Yes.
Is it a costume of any branch of service in government work?
Yes.
Would it have anything to do with either the police, fire, or post office departments?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Susie Knickerbocker.
Could you call it a uniform?
Yes.
Would it be a uniform that is worn by a member of the armed services?
Yes.
Well, are you in the Marine Corps?
No.
That's 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Gable.
Are you in the Army?
No.
6 down and 4 to go, Miss Francis.
It's going to be so embarrassing to ask if you're in the Navy. And find out I'm wrong. Are you in the Navy?
Yes.
Have you, has your picture recently been in the newspapers?
No.
7 down and 3 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Are you in some branch of the Navy that requires special training?
Yes.
Would it be either submarine or aircraft part of the Navy?
Yes.
Submarine?
Yes.
Yes. Very good, Bennett. Actually, I'm going to throw the rest of the cards over, but I think we must agree that Bennett has identified the
Was the
fact.
commander of one of the nuclear submarines?
Serving in a nuclear submarine, not the commanding officer. As a matter of fact, it's Lieutenant Junior Grade Roger Maley, who's serving in the USS.
The Marines.
The Marines? Oh, man.
And I asked if it were the Marines.
You spend a lot of time.
I'll never get over
You
that.
never will.
Roger.
Isn't that something? Well, let me explain, because Susie, I know, is so happy to see you as a part of our program tonight. Lieutenant Maley is...
How would I know he's in town? He's not supposed to be here until Thursday.
Supply officer, right?
That's
sir?
right.
Supply officer on the USS Lewis and Clark, a Polaris submarine. Been with it since she was commissioned?
That's correct.
And you just recently come back from a run.
That's true. We just came back from about 2 months under.
Susie, we get you a lot of information, because I think this is the greatest arm of the Navy.
Oh, I do, too. I think he's
how
the
long do
greatest
you-
part of the greatest arm, too.
Yeah, man. When you're on a run like this, how much submerged?
Well, we stay completely
Traveling.
submerged for over 2 months.
Over 2 months. Never come up.
Never come
What
up.
happens to you when you get out in fresh air?
You're happy.
Does it seem funny, though?
Yes, it does seem a little bit strange.
You know, the fresh
But
air.
you don't want to go back, though.
You don't want to go back. Yeah.
Not for a while, anyhow.
Well, by this I must say, Lieutenant, that
Oh,
we
it's
had
the biggest
hoped to
surprise.
catch your mom off base, and we caught her off base completely, putting you in the United States Marines. I congratulate you on the arm of the Navy that you're in. I have a number 2 son out at Yokosuka, but he's a lawyer, and he's a base naval officer, but I think he would be as excited as he could be if he could do the kind of service you're doing. It's a great
Thank you
service.
very much.
Thanks for being with us on What's Next.
Absolutely wonderful.
How we doing, Susie?
Oh, it was just, I don't know.
Interfered with her eyelashes.
Only
Christmas,
for a
ain't it
moment.
wonderful, huh?
Helped her Christmas now.
Oh, it has
wonderful.
it.
Well, we'll have
Terrible
another...
what children do to their parents these days.
But what I was looking for, John, was that extra stripe when he got up.
Well,
because
it's coming.
it's coming in a minute, I
Yeah,
think. He's
it's
due to
coming.
make full lieutenant within
Yeah.
a day or two.
And that's, you know, this is something I guess a lot of you folks have got Navy in the family, but he got out of Annapolis in '63.
Yes, that's
And
right.
he'll have his full 2 stripes very, very soon now, and that's something to be very proud
Yeah.
of.
As his father before him. His father's an admiral, John. He's an aviator.
Well,
So it's an... Oh.
I must say you got both ends of the Navy, one way upstairs and one down as deep as he can go. Congratulations, Susie. He's a wonderful man, that son of yours. And we'll have another contestant for you in just a moment after this word. And now to meet our next contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Sam Snyderman, right, sir?
Right.
All right. Mr. Snyderman, where are you from?
Toronto, Canada.
Toronto, Canada. Well, it's very nice to have you with us, sir. Mr. Snyderman, may I present our panel?
I did do.
And now, if you'll join me over here, sir, we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, we can tell you that Mr. Snyderman is self-employed and deals in a product. And we'll begin things with Arlene Francis.
Mr. Snyderman, is it a useful product?
Yes?
Is it a product that any of us on the panel might possibly own?
No.
You don't know what we own.
I was about to say that, but I think, Arlene, that is fair. It is unlikely that any one of the four of you would own it. It does not say you could not own it, but it's unlikely that you would. Bennett?
Mr. Snyderman, may we assume that this product of yours has never been or is not now alive?
No.
No?
No, you asked him, may we assume that it has never been and is not now?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we could assume it is not alive, right?
No.
Right.
It is not.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a manufactured product?
Yes.
Is it larger than the proverbial bread box?
Yes.
Has it got any moving parts in it?
No.
That's 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Knickerbocker.
It just sits there. It's stationary. Oh. Is it something that at any time touches the body?
Yes.
When I said it just sits there, the audience laughed. Do you sit in this product?
Yes.
You've got a clear mind, Susan.
I don't know why, after seeing my son, I can even think. You sit in it. Now, is it...
You could. You could sit in it.
You can sit in it.
Taking all the words for exactly what they mean, you could sit in it.
You could sit in it. But its primary purpose, then, is not... I mean, you couldn't call it a chair. Am I right in saying you couldn't call it a chair or a couch?
Yes.
Is it, when you are close to this or touching it or sitting on it, do you do anything else with it?
No, I wouldn't say you did anything else with it. 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Gable.
I'm hipped on the time of the year. I'm very moved by everything that's going on in the great city and so on. Has it anything to do with this most emotional time of the year?
No.
No. 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
Who arranged this program?
Could children enjoy this product?
Sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Is it ever found out of doors?
Yes.
Is it more often found out of doors than indoors?
Yes.
But let me say I would not make too much of that because it would be difficult to ascertain just what percentage, if it were in use, was spent outdoors and what percentage indoors. It is not very important.
If it is not primarily used to sit in, and it is not, I believe.
No, it doesn't.
Would you go into it?
I've had enough trouble with it. No. 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Sir.
Mr. Snyderman, is there any danger connected with this product?
No.
There's 6 down and 4 to go, Miss Knickerbocker.
Is it made of metal?
Partly.
It has no movable parts. We ascertained that. Is it scooped out or hollowed out in any way?
No, I don't think so.
Partially shaped.
Da. 7 down and 3 to go.
Oh,
no,
let him go
you're too
on.
kind. You're too
Has it
kind,
anything
Mr.
to...
Snyder.
Excuse me, John. Has it anything to do with either health or pleasure?
Not specifically, Martin. It would have, a very tangential application. So that's 8 down and 2 to go,
You
Arlene.
say it has some metal. Is it made of wood?
No.
Nope. 9 down and 1 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Now, wait a minute. There's some metal in it, and there's no wood in it. Is
Right.
there cloth in it?
Yes.
What?
Cloth.
Metal and cloth. Does it move around? Is it moved around when it's in use?
Very often. Very often.
Yes.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Has it anything to do with household, or would it be part of a household, either inside or outside part of the household inventory?
No.
No, I wouldn't think you'd call it household inventory.
May I take a guess?
Yeah.
It isn't anything like a butterfly net or anything that you'd catch it.
It's not a hammock, is it, John?
No, you sit in that.
No, but you're getting closer than you have been. Actually, Mr. Snyderman is Toronto's leading kilt maker. Bennett has that quizzical look.
I know some Scotchmen whose kilts would be smaller than a bread box.
Yeah, but I know some Scotchmen whose kilts would be bigger than a bread box. This is always difficult because when you ask that question, of course, you could take a kilt and fold it up and put it into a bread box, but equally, you know, you could take a kilt, a big bread box, you could put a kilt into. If you folded it up, you know, as tight as you
Why would kilts be made in Canada?
Oh, they have Scottish regiments of great name, reputation, and fame up there, and actually...
Oh, they've got a Canadian Black Watch, I know that.
Yeah,
Yes.
and Mr. Snyderman was a tailor in the Canadian Army and is now your tailor to two of the reserve
I'm
divisions.
the regimental tailor of the 48th Highlanders.
What metal is in kilts?
The buckles.
The buckles.
Oh.
Don't you have buckles on your kilt, Bennett? Good heavenly days. Well, thank you, Mr. Snyderman. That was fun. It's all... We'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first, this word. Blindfolds, panel. Blindfolds, please, panel. We are coming to our special feature on the program, the appearance of the mystery guest, which, as you know, requires you must again be blindfolded. So when you get all the blindfolds in place... Bennett got another letter this week. He loves to bring letters to me from folks that are critical, you know, like my cuffs don't show. He had one from a very nice teacher out, I think, in the western part of the country, who said that I always use the same inflection when I say, well, the next contestant, enter and sign in, please. So tonight I've been trying to reverse it, and I'm not doing very well. But that's all right. The most blindfolds are in place, panel?
Yes.
Good. Will you enter Mystery Challenger and sign in, please? Panel, now we go to the other form of questioning. As you will remember, it's one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise, and we'll begin things with Bennett Cerf.
Just to change the usual first question, are you famous for some kind of physical prowess?
I hope not.
What?
I said I hope not.
That's a no, Bennett. 1 down and 9 to go. Susie Knickerbocker.
Would be nice, though.
Ah. Are you a lady in show business?
Yes.
Mr. Gable?
Are you appearing now on Broadway?
You mean just generally in any way, manner, shape, or form?
In a Broadway play, John.
Oh,
No.
that's 2 down, a date to go, Miss Francis.
Are you soon to appear in a Broadway play?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Are you a motion picture star?
Yes.
Miss Knickerbocker?
Are you a blonde motion picture star?
Yes.
Mr. Gable?
Is a picture of yours now being exhibited on Broadway?
Yes.
Miss Francis?
Are you American?
Yes.
Mr. Cerf?
Would you describe yourself, or would John describe you as a pin-up girl?
I'll leave that to John.
Well, now, I would say here, I think that our guest is a beautiful woman. And I trust that, Bennett, you will accept that as being the most magnificent of all pin-up girls, but a beautiful woman. Miss Knickerbocker.
I'm going to guess. Are you Eva Marie Saint?
You will understand now why I said, did you mean in any manner, shape, or form?
I quite understand.
Because Grand Prix, which is Eva Marie Saint's new big movie, is right on Broadway right now, and but she's not in a Broadway play.
I'd like to say the Broadway stage is less for her not appearing on it.
Agreed. I must say also, if I may, because I think Martin opens the door, all of us who are in television remember with great pride that I think you've served a long apprenticeship and a very successful one in television. And we were very proud to see you go on and do the great things that you've done in Hollywood and on the Broadway stage, too.
And the pictures will be back on television, John.
You think they will be? You really think a day's going to come, Martin, when they put those movies on television? I don't
John,
know.
I think Miss Saint was in the best picture of the year. The Russians Are Coming.
Oh, thank
I
you.
think it's the funniest, cleverest picture of the entire year.
Thank you.
And you were great.
And I liked your cover on Time.
I must say that I'm sure Grand Prix will be as great a success as the Russians were coming, or are coming, was, is, and were, and so forth. And thank you very much. It's nice to have had you with us. In spite of the fact that we gave you some trouble with the kilts, and we will all be back after this word. Well, we have very little time left, but I think there's a good reason to try to have another contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? All right, Mr. G. Avery West. Where are you from, sir?
East Hampton, Connecticut.
East Hampton, Connecticut. Will you say hello to the panel and then join me? And panel, as I've told you, we have very little time left, but I think that this might be fun for you tonight. So we'll let the audience in the theater and at home know fleetingly what it is that Mr. West does, and then we'll see what you can find out. Mr. West, I can tell you, is salaried and deals in a product, and we will start with Mr. Gable.
Thank you, John. Mr. West, East Hampton is one of the most beautiful communities in the country. And, of course, it's on the sea. Has your occupation anything to do with the sea?
No. Not really. This is, their product is involved here, and we won't say it isn't at sea ever, but not really. Miss Francis?
Is it a product that's found in the home?
Yes.
Is it a product that anybody might get for Christmas or have gotten?
Yes.
Can it be bought in a store?
Yes.
Is it edible?
No. 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Sir.
Mr. West, is it an article of apparel?
No. 3 down and 7 to go, Susie Knickerbocker.
Is it a useful...
Knickerbocker.
Yeah, that's better.
Knickerbocker. Oh, fully. Listen, this is fun.
John.
We asked Mr. West to come tonight because what he does is sells bells, and we thought that would be great fun tonight. But we flipped all the cards over. Mr. West is with the Bevan Brothers Manufacturing Company and in East Hampton, established in 1832. They make bells of all sizes up to what, 8 inches?
12 inches.
12 inches, 8 inches, all kinds of bells. 12 inches in diameter. We thought it was nice to have you tonight. Thank you very much for being with us, sir. It's nice to see you. And now we have just time to say, lovely to have you, Martin and Susie, and to say a happy Merry Christmas and good night, Miss Knickerbocker.
Happy Merry Christmas to you, and happy Merry Christmas to you.
And you, of course.
Thank you, dear. Merry Christmas again, Bennett.
And everybody, and I want to hear your New Year's resolutions next week, John.
Yes, sir. And Merry Christmas, Bennett. And you can wait for my New Year's resolutions, and thanks to all of you.
Thank you.
Well, Miss Arlene, 17 and a half years of Sunday nights. And you know, it's a wonderful thing. Arlene grows lovelier every Sunday. And Bennett, we have just come back from California, and I bring you a gift. Have you heard about the 2 hippies that were married in the bathtub?
No.
It was a double ring ceremony. And you don't know how hard it was to avoid the temptation, because I saw Bennett about 20 minutes ago for the first time since we parted for the month. And I just said, I've got to wait until we get out there. The one last pun, well, it won't be the last, but I hope one of the best will be mine. Well, Martin Gable has appeared with us over 100 times, more than any other guest panelist. And Steve Allen, as you all know, was with us for, a regular for a year and a half, and then many, many, many times as a guest. And we think it's a privilege that you two would join us on this last program, and welcome very much.
Thank you.
Now, we're going to have an occupation or two to solve tonight, and we'll have a mystery guest later on in the proceedings. But tonight's program is going to be a bit out of the ordinary, off the norm. To start things off, I'm going to ask 3 people to join us here on stage. Will you enter and sign in, please? All right. Now, right here next to me is Pat Finch. The gentleman on your left is Arthur Feinberg. Next to him is Seymour Kolodny. Now, panel, not one of you was here that night when the first program of What's My Line appeared, in which these 3 people were the contestants on our very first show on February 2nd of 1950. Today, Mr. Feinberg.
8 years old at that time.
Huh?
The girl was 8 years old at that time.
Oh, very good. Well, Mr. Feinberg, we're going to start with, because we want to play a game, is an executive now of the same company that he was with in 1950. And, panel, I want to see if you can guess what he does. We'd admit it's just a wild guess. We'll give you one guess apiece. I'll tell you only that Mr. Feinberg has something to do with children. And we'll start with Arlene.
He makes baby carriages.
No. Mr. Allen?
He is in the diaper business.
Mr. Cerf?
I thought he probably ran a diaper service.
Mr. Gable?
Makes bread boxes for children.
Mr. Allen and Mr. Cerf both get 1 peppermint candy bar. They're both right, because that's exactly what Mr. Feinberg does. He's with the Cascade Diaper Service. Very good. All right. Well, Mr. Feinberg, all I can say is that I hope that the years have been as kind to you as they have been to What's My Line.
They have been, thank you very much.
You've enjoyed them as much as we have?
I have.
Well, and bless you.
I want to take this opportunity to wish you great success in your new undertaking.
Oh, well, thanks very much, and may you continue to prosper with the diaper business, because I think
With a population explosion, I
With a
think he's all
population
right.
explosion, yeah. Now, Mr. Kolodny is also engaged in the same occupation as he was when our first show went on the air, and I'll tell you that he is properly addressed as Dr. Kolodny. Now, let's start the guesses this time with Steve Allen.
I would guess he's a veterinarian.
Mr. Cerf.
I think he's a dentist.
Mr. Gable.
Psychoanalyst.
Arlene.
Psychiatrist.
Mr. Allen gets another peppermint candy bar. Absolutely right. Dr. Kolodny practices veterinary medicine down in Greenwich Village. Well, Doctor, I know that it's been a long time since they had pasture down there. What have you been doing all of these 17 and a half years? Your clientele is what? Mostly,
Well, mostly dogs and cats now.
dogs and cats.
But the people are changing.
The people are...
Yeah.
The dogs and cats go on as
Go
always.
on, but the people are changing.
And
yes.
the 17 and a half years have been kind to you, too, I hope?
Oh, yes, they have.
Oh, good. Well, it's with you also, may I say, we all appreciate your coming back to join us for the final show, having been with us on the first one.
Thank
Glad
you.
to have you both with us. All right, now, Pat Finch was the very first contestant on the first show, and thus the first occupation that any panel ever had to solve. Now, I'll tell you that in 1950, Pat worked for Sherman Billingsley at the famous Stork Club. And we'll start the guesses this time with Bennett Cerf.
I would say she was probably the lovely girl who sold cigarettes there.
No, we want to know what Pat's doing now.
Oh,
Right.
I thought you meant what she was doing.
Well, actually, I don't know. What do I want you to do? Yeah, go ahead. Do that. Fine.
I think she was a slender little girl peddling cigarettes at the Stork Club.
All right, Mr. Gable.
Miss Finch is working at El Morocco now.
Ms. Francis.
Well, I think Miss Finch should have graduated to her own bistro by now.
Mr. Allen.
My interpretation was the same as Bennett, so I'll guess what she did then. Since she's very pretty and doesn't look at all like one, I'll guess that she was a bouncer then or something of the sort.
No, actually, Bennett was very close. Pat was the hat check girl at the Stork Club in those days. It's been torn down, as you all know, for Paley Park. But Pat Finch has gone on to bigger and better things. And, Miss Pat, suppose you tell us what you've gone on to.
Oh, well, Mr. Daly, I've been in several Broadway shows. Some nice long runs among them, thank heaven. I stood by for Eileen Hurley, the matchmaker, and played the part. And I was in Fanny and Bells Are Ringing and Unthinkable Molly Brown. And now I'm doing television commercials and some television and radio.
Ah, that's
And
good.
I also have, just for the record, a very lovely 5-year-old son named Kenneth who's watching tonight.
Oh, wonderful, Pat. That's just grand. So there, that's, I hope in a way that having started with What's My Line was responsible for this rise in career that you've had. I know that I can say to Pat, for you, and to Mr. Feinberg and Dr. Kolodny, thanks for being with us again as you were in 1950, 17 and a half years later. It was awfully good of you to come to our last show, and good luck to all three of you, and the best of wishes, and to that 5-year-old, too.
The same to you.
Thanks very much. And we'll be back right after this word.
I love my hair in the sun. I love to see it gleam and feel the warm softness. That's why I pamper my hair with extra rich liquid Prel. Its luxurious lather leaves my hair lovely in the sun. And I feel beautiful all over.
Indulge yourself with luxurious liquid Prel, not thin, sinfully rich liquid Prel.
I'd like to show you a little experiment. I'm cleaning the left side of this waxed floor with a powdered cleaner. The right with Mr. Clean. Wet, both sides look shiny, but now's no time to judge a floor. Let it dry. See? Some of the powder that dissolved in the water dried back on the floor. Mr. Clean's side, still shiny. He leaves a sheen where he cleans. Get Mr. Clean, all right?
Well, so far on this last show, we've talked about the first show all the time. Before we leave that subject, we thought you'd like to see some 1950 television when instead of 56 million television sets, there were 1/10 of that number. Panel, we've got a big surprise, and I hope some fun for you, too. We've placed a monitor on stage for the first time. We're going to let you watch a part of What's My Line while it's actually on the air. Here is how, on February 2nd, 1950, a new program called What's My Line was introduced to a small but growing television audience. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. In fact, welcome to our premiere telecast of What's My Line. And I certainly hope our distinguished panelists, members of our panel tonight, are going to do a fine job of human analysis. In other words, be able to answer the question, what's my line? Now, to start things rolling, I'd like the panel to meet our first challenger, whose occupation it's their job to ferret out. Will you sign in, please, miss? Now watch Arlene 1 month later as she questioned a hotel house detective.
He gets up and down. He's not too sure what floor he's on.
No, that's right.
East Florida.
Dear me, I ought to penalize you for that. That's
Other
the question.
people employed in your organization that do the same kind of work you do?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you work, maybe it's a store. Oh, pardon me. Do you work on several floors of an organization or just on one?
Bennett Cerf made his premiere appearance with us on October 15th of that first year, 1950. Now famous for his long, complicated, and punny introductions, watch how he did the first time out.
And on my left, our guest panelist tonight, the famous publisher and columnist, Mr. Bennett Cerf.
Now, on my left is the famous news analyst and moderator and master of ceremonies of this program, Mr. John Daly.
Not a pun in a carload, then. Steve Allen joined us for the first time 1 year later in March of 1951. His wit and humor were apparent from the outset, as on that show, he questioned a challenger who made wedding rings.
Worn?
Yes.
Gee, I didn't expect to get this good so soon.
Go ahead.
I got it, but I don't know what to do with it. It's worn. Would it be something you might see in a casual surroundings, like at the beach or something? Could it be worn at the...
Yes.
I know what you're thinking, and if you ask him if he models them, I'll throw the desk.
No, can be worn at the beach. Would it be all right to wear one of these and nothing else?
Martin Gable came to us first, just in time for Christmas in 1956. Sitting next to Mrs. Gable, as he is now, he questioned a lady who made nightcaps for bald-headed men.
Is it something that improves the general well-being of the male sex, that portion of the sex that uses it?
I think it might.
Is it something that I would be apt to want to buy for myself?
You might.
Is it something which, when I applied it in whatever form, would improve me in some way?
Well, I'm not going to answer that one, I'll say that. Well, these have been wonderful years, and I might say I think the finest thing about it are the close bonds of friendship that have been formed by all of us who are the old hands on What's My Line, and we can take much comfort in the simple fact that these friendships will continue in the years ahead. The 17 and a half years have brought us sadness, too. Two of our oldest and dearest friends left us. Dorothy Kilgallen, who was on the very first program and was with us for 15 years. Fred Allen, who was with us for better than a year and then went on, too. And I would say only, speaking for the panel and for myself, that we all treasure the memory of those years when they were with us. Now, very soon, panel, we're going to get back to what we've done for 17 and a half years. We're going to have an occupation for you to guess. We'll give you that chance right after this message.
Here's a pleasant surprise for people with indigestion or heartburn. New Pepto-Bismol tablets. They work two ways. One, they neutralize excess stomach acid for fast relief. Two, their coating action protects your stomach lining against excess acid for prolonged, soothing relief. Get both, acid neutralizer and stomach coating action. Carry good-tasting, chewable pink Pepto-Bismol tablets.
Think. 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 Think of all the things in your home that can burn you.
Ouch.
That's why it's good to keep a reliable friend on hand. Unguentine. Unguentine has, well, it has a long name and does a fast job. Cools burning pain. You unburn with Unguentine for fast temporary relief. Do you have Unguentine in your home?
Ouch.
After all, you never know when you might need it.
All right, and now let's see what we can do with the regular challenger. Would you enter and sign in, please? L. Bergielli, right, sir? Mr. Bergielli, where are you from?
New York City.
New York City. May I present the panel, sir? Bergielli. Now, if you'll join me over here, we'll let the audience at home and the audience in the theater know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, we can tell you that Mr. Bergielli is salaried and deals in a service, and we'll start things with Arlene Francis.
Well, Mr. Pergielli, you're handsome enough to be a performer yourself. Do you perform in any way?
No.
One down and 9 to go, Mr. Allen.
Are your services equally of interest to men and women? Of you?
Yes.
Does what you do change them physically in any way?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Have you any connection whatever with the entertainment industry?
No, I don't.
3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Gable.
Have you anything to do with clothes?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
Would people come to you for your service?
Yes.
Would I hand the money directly to you for the service that you might give to me?
No.
5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Allen.
When you are performing your professional function, are you attired differently than you are at this moment?
No.
6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Sir.
Do you work for a profit-making organization?
No.
Oh, I'm going to throw all the cards over. We're just trying to give you a service, that's all. That's all, I mean, Mr.
He runs the service.
That's right. He handles claims for the New York State Unemployment Bureau. Mr. Fergelli, we had you here because we all wanted to meet you. You know, I was going to say... What are your hours, Mr. Fergelli? I was going to say, I hope that you have a long and busy career ahead of you, but I don't really mean that, because I don't want you to be that busy.
Well, the kind of service we perform is very rewarding in many ways, and we, of course, don't expect to see any of the panel in there.
I hope you don't either. And thanks very much, sir, for being part of our show. Nice to see you. We'll be back with our final mystery guest in just a moment.
Denture wearers are asking, is there a difference in denture cleansers? Listen to what Mr. David Kerman, a denture wearer, has to say.
You know, since I've been using Polident tablets, my dentures are really clean. Odor-free, too.
Polident, a revolutionary tablet that really fights denture stain and odor with an exclusive combination of active cleansing ingredients and effervescent oxygen action. See this bar of denture material? It's covered with tough food stain. Drop it into warm water with a Polident effervescent tablet, and instantly, the power-packed oxygen whiteners start to clean. Scrub stain and odor away safely, in minutes. Your dentures are cleaner, fresher tasting. Is there really a difference in denture cleansers? Remember what Mr. Kerman says.
There's just nothing like Polident tablets. It's the best way I know to clean dentures.
And now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery challenger, for which, as you all know, the panel is always blindfolded. Are the blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes,
Yes, John. Good. Will you come out, mystery challenger, and sign in, please? All right, as you know, panel, in this case, a different form of questioning, one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise, and we will begin with Martin Gable.
Are you in the theatrical business? Thank you, John.
No.
That's 1 down and 9 to go. Arlene.
Are you voted into office?
No.
That's 2 down and 8 to go. Mr. Allen.
Have you any connection with the world of sports?
No.
What? No. That's 3 down and 7 to go. Mr. Sir.
I smell 8 rats. Have you any connection with the television industry?
Yes.
Mr. Gable, are you connected with this network?
Yes.
Arlene.
Are you going to be out of business like the rest of us?
Arlene, do you have something in mind that, you want to take a guess?
Well, if it's anybody I think it is, they won't be out of business as much as I will. But I just want to keep in good with them. Is it by any chance Mark Goodson and Bill Todman and part of the staff?
No. 4 down and 6 to go. Mr. Allen.
Oh, dear. I thought it was Goodson and Todman, or Donder and Blitzen, or somebody like that. Now I'm at a loss.
You did say connected with the network.
Yes.
Yes.
Are you, having any fun? No, are you a senior officer of this network?
No.
That's 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Sir.
Are you possibly impersonating yourself, Mr. Daly?
Who? That it? I hadn't realized how hard that was. I'm practically out of voice.
Crazy about your new voice. That's the voice of America, is it?
You think I've got a future, do you, Arlie? Well, let me explain very quickly that we did that because, although I suppose it's difficult for you all to believe it, we've had literally thousands of letters in 17 and a half years saying, why don't you be the mystery guest? We've never been able to use it because it was the only backstop we had in case a mystery guest didn't come. Because the mystery guest arrives after the program starts, and we've had a couple of close shaves. 1 minute once before the guest was supposed to go on. Well, I see our time is running short, so I think what we had better do is something we'd all want to do. One last task remains, a happy task. I'd like to bring out the two men responsible for the creation of What's My Line, and through it for the panel game show as a television staple, Mark Goodson and Bill Todman.
John, that was one of the funniest mystery guest spots I've ever heard.
Hilarious.
Marvelous.
Hilarious.
You know, it seems almost impossible to realize that Sunday night at 10:30 will not be What's My Line time anymore. We've been around so long, we've become more than a show, I think. We've become kind of an institution, sort of. Even those who didn't tune us in regularly every week knew we were there, like the Plaza Hotel and the Lions in front of the library. And I was just realizing when I saw the diaper service man out here and someone talked about the growth in population, that since What's My Line has been on the air, some over 70 million children have been born in the United States. And incidentally, Twiggy was 6 months old when the show went on the air. We've had a marvelous roster of guests, and I couldn't possibly read them all off now, but it will not be the same without What's My Line. We're going to miss it, and we're going to miss you, too. Bill?
Thank you, Marcus. William, you have a word.
I feel like crying, but I won't. I would like to thank, most sincerely, for all of us, to our wonderful CBS crew, the technicians, too numerous to mention. I want to thank Gil Fates, our producer, who has been with us since our very first show, Franklin Heller, our director, who started on our very third program, Ann Krieger and Bog Bach, each with us from the beginning, and Ann Krieger for 13 of those years, Barbara Griff, the program staff, and from all of us to all of you out there, we thank you for being our audience. Good night.
And now, Johnny Olson, come in here. Johnny Olson, come in and be a part of the gang. And as we say good night, because it is time to say good night, Johnny Olson here, who's been with us for all these years. Goodbye, Martin.
Thank you. Goodbye, John. Thank you.
I've enjoyed it very much. Good luck to us all.
20 seconds is a very short time after 17 and a half years to say goodbye to all of our friends. My feelings are too deep to make up for that ratio in time. But thank you all deeply, and very good luck to our replacement.
Arlene, you took the words right out of my mouth. Good night. Good night.
Well, this is the end of one of the most rewarding, wonderful experiences in my life. I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I hope a lot of you who watched this have enjoyed it too. Thank you for supporting us. And John, I hope you're going to be a beautiful voice of America.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, Bennett. Good night, ladies and gentlemen, for having been with us for 17 and a half years with What's My Line.
What's My Line was brought to you tonight by new Polident tablets, the powerful new denture cancer tablets to keep your breath fresh, keep your smile bright and natural.
Well, Bennett, I will return all those harsh words with kindness. I bring you greetings from your friends in San Antonio, Texas. I went down there this week and had a very nice time with them. They want you to come back, and that surprised me. They're going to have, in 1968, they're going to have a hemisphere, what they call hemisphere, an international exposition. I saw all the models and the building that's beginning. It's right in the middle of town, so they want you to come back and see that. I said I'd tell you. Come and see Hemisphere 68. Mark, it's good to have the boss around. It'll make us all behave ourselves.
Thank you, John.
Phyllis, look out. Just watch out. And Arlene, I'll waltz with you as soon as we're out of here.
I hope so.
Yeah, very gladly. Now to some good news. Put your masks on because we're playing some tricks tonight. And we have to have the masks on at the very beginning to play the tricks. This means, of course, that we'll have some interesting occupations. And we're going to have 2 mystery guests tonight. And we're going to start with a mystery challenger. So are the blindfolds all in place?
Yes.
All right, then will our first mystery challenger enter and sign in, please?
All right.
Panel, as you are well aware, we use the other form of questioning in this case, one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise. And let's begin things with Phyllis Newman.
Thank you. Mystery guest, are you someone who's used to appearing in front of the public?
Yes.
Oh, really? Yes.
Was that a yes?
Could
That
you
was
say
a
it
yes.
again?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Slobbers. Did you just win the election as governor of California?
Nope. That's 1 down and 9 to go. Arlene Francis.
Are you an actor?
Nope.
No?
Oh. Well, let's see. With the permission of our mystery guest, I will say that he is of many, many great talents, and we would have to agree, we who are his admirers, that acting is one of them. Mr. Cerf.
This breaks my heart, but I have to disqualify myself.
Oh. Well, that's too bad, Bennett.
I think so, too.
Hoping to get you in trouble with this one, Phyllis.
Chicken.
That makes you next, chicken. That's right.
Heavens to Betsy, do you appear regularly on television?
Nope. That's 2 down and 8 to go. We're assuming there that by regularly you mean on a weekly basis. Mark
Well,
Woodson?
I mean with a certain amount of regularity. I mean once a month, once every 3.5 weeks, anything.
No, we
No.
couldn't even guarantee the regularity, so you'd
Okay.
still get your note. 2 down and 8 to go, Mark.
May I assume that you're under 25 years of age?
Nope. 2 down, 3 down and 7 to go, Arlene.
Are you also a director?
Sometimes.
Yes. Do you have a big bald head?
That's 4 down and 6 to go, Mark.
You have a small bald head.
Were you ever in the circus?
Nope. That's 5 down and 5 to go, Arlene.
Do you sing?
Yep. Phyllis?
You sing, and you've got hair, and you're not on television. Why? Are you in the movies, and are you a leading man in the movies?
Yes. Mark?
Do you sing at the opera?
Nope. 6 down and 4 to go, Arlene.
Well, everything you do, if it's who I think it is, you do very well indeed. Is it by any chance Frank Sinatra?
It is.
That was a giveaway.
John, I have to make a confession right here. Those stupid questions that I ask about the circus and all the rest were kind of deliberate, and I'm on here for a reason, knowing in advance, and I must confess this right away, that I knew that Frank was going to be on, because Frank and I have worked out a plot, which I thought was a secret until now, because I have asked Frank to do something which has never been done on the show. First of all, it's the first time that Frank has ever been on this show in all of its 16 years to start with. And after long and persuasive argument, I have conned him and persuaded him to come over here and take my place on the panel.
Oh, good.
John.
Bye-bye, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
You did very well.
I have to explain now why I disqualified myself. In all the years I've been on this show, my wife Phyllis has known several times who the mystery guest was going to be and never once gave it to me. But this time, inadvertently, she let it slip the other night.
Big mouth.
Yes, I think so,
Big
too.
mouth.
If she's listening, it was a terrible thing to do.
What time's the bar open on this show?
Frank, that was a very good voice. That's where you must have learned it from Toots.
Well, I used to sing like that.
Oh, I thought.
So you met someone who set you back on your heels.
Well, anyway, let's get this on the road again. We'll have another contestant for you in just a moment after this word. No. All right. And now, let's meet a regular challenger. Will you enter and sign in, please?
Oh.
I'm beginning to like this show already.
Lynn Castle. Right, ma'am? Is it Miss or Mrs. Castle? Miss Castle, and where are you from?
Hollywood.
From Hollywood. Nice to have you with us. Miss Castle, may I present the panel? Now, will you join me over here, ma'am, and we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right. Well, panel, we can tell you that Miss Castle is self-employed and deals in a service, and I think we ought to put you to work right away, Frank Sinatra.
Deals in a service?
Mm-hmm.
Would I benefit by your service?
Mm-hmm.
I would?
Yeah.
You're a liquor dealer.
No. One down and nice to go, Arlene.
I think she just said she was to John. You want to have a conference? Small wonder. Everything all straightened out?
All straightened out.
Does this service that you perform have anything whatsoever to do with the motion picture industry?
Well, we would have to admit that it's a possibility that there could be a very thin association with something.
Is this going to take
like
long,
this.
John?
2 weeks,
It's only beginning.
But it is, I want you to say it's very thin. We'll give you a yes, but it's on a very tenuous basis.
Is it Miss Grace?
Miss Castle.
Miss Castle? Disgrace. Miss Castle, would you be considered a performer? No. Do you do something that is a performance?
No, you can't clean that. You meant as an acting type
No, I
performance.
just meant, does she perform in some way or other?
Oh, I'm sure you did, but we'll still give you the no, you know.
Oh, she doesn't
perform in the sense of entertaining as a performer, no. That's 2 down and 8 to go, Ben.
Miss Castle, may I assume that the service you perform for people in the entertainment industry is the same one you can possibly perform for people who are not in the entertainment industry? That's correct?
Uh-huh.
Do you come into physical contact with the people whom you serve?
Yes, uh-huh.
You do?
Yes.
Is it on the above the waist that you come in contact with people?
Yes.
Might it be above the neck?
Yes.
Are the people with whom you are the people that are the people that you deal with sometimes not standing up while you're dealing with them?
See, it's it again. They've fallen down drunk. She's a liquor dealer.
Do you apply anything to their countenances while you work?
Sometimes.
Are you in any possible way connected with the barbering industry?
Yes.
Are you a lady barber?
Actually, Miss Castle is here with us because she cut Steve Allen's hair, and Steve said, "My golly, this would be fun. It would probably puzzle the panel." She doesn't
Miss
sort of
Castle ought to cut her own hair.
doesn't have time. She's very busy, but freelances, and you also work sometimes.
Cut my hair anytime you want, baby.
The Rogue. Sometimes works at the Rogue, and more than 80% of your customers are men, huh?
Yes, uh-huh.
Mhm. So, Bennett, needless to say, won't need your services for a long while, but here we are.
Yes, positive you don't serve refreshments in your barber shop or something? I don't know.
But I must say, Miss Castle also is a songwriter on the side, and congratulations, you had one of your songs, Monkey sang it. They're not very good. I hope you have 2 successful careers.
Thank you.
Nice to have you with us on What's My Line. We'll meet tonight's second mystery guest in just a moment. But first, this... And now, the second special feature of our program, the appearance of our second mystery challenger, for which the panel, as I noted a moment ago, has to be blindfolded. Are the blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Good. Will you enter mystery challenger and sign in, please? All right, panel, once again, one question at a time, in turn moving clockwise, and we'll begin things with Phyllis Newman.
Are you a performer? Yes.
Mr. Sinatra?
I got claustrophobia. You're a performer. Are you a blonde lady?
Yes.
Miss Francis?
Have you ever performed with Frank Sinatra? What was the answer?
Nope, that's 1 down and 9 to go.
Well, we got rid of that problem right away, didn't we?
Have you ever met any members of this panel socially?
Yeah.
Phyllis?
Are you, or have you ever been on television and in the movies whatever that means? What? Yes. Yes?
Mr. Sinatra?
Okay.
Are you specifically a film star?
No, I don't think we could say specifically, Frank. That's 2 down and 8 to go. Arlene?
Are you at the present time starring in a musical comedy in New York?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Would you be a very bad customer for that lady barber who was just in here?
No.
4 down and 6 to go. Phyllis?
Did you appear on television regularly? Yeah.
Mr. Sinatra?
Do you cater the food to Toots Shor's restaurant? I didn't hear an answer.
Oh, no!
I've been trying to find that guy for years. I can't find him.
You're not appearing in the theater, but have you in the past appeared in the theater?
Yes.
Mr. Cerf?
You say you wouldn't be a good customer for the lady barber.
Would be.
Have you ever done any barbering on your own?
Yes.
Phyllis?
Have you ever kissed anybody on this panel? Yes. Oh, good.
Mr. Sinatra?
You got the same name as mine? What did I tell you? I really didn't know it. You naughty, naughty. Naughty, naughty.
That's great, Frank.
Pretty good secret, I must say.
That we were very proud of.
Aren't you home at this hour tonight?
Well, needless to say, it's been a long and involved plot, part of which, unfortunately, Bennett got, but he didn't get enough of it to get us in real trouble.
But I had a sneaking idea.
He had a sneaking idea.
I actually said to the girls here that I thought there was a chance, and I said, nah, she wouldn't do that. She's with Mrs. Cerf watching the show. Sneak.
Well, I done read in the paper today that you're going to play Peter Pan for Mel Ferrer.
Well, I'd like to. It looks that way. It'd be marvelous if it came across, yes.
Well, the paper talked about like it's so, and if wishing will make it so, if it's not official yet, we will all wish it so it will be so.
Thank you.
Mia, thanks so much for coming to join us and helping us play a trick on Frank. It was awfully nice of you. Good to have you with us.
4 years old.
On points, I've got to agree you've done very well so far tonight, panel, so congratulations. We'll have another contestant after this word. And now for a final contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Jody. Jody Michaels, right? Where are you from, Jody?
Rockaway, New York.
Rockaway, New York. This looks like a school jacket to me, is it? Is this
Yes.
your school? Which school do you go to?
St. Francis de Sales.
St. Francis de Sales. We admit beforehand that Jody goes to school, but he also has a vocation, and that's what you'll have to try and dig out of him. Jody, may I present our panel? Jody. And now, Jody, if you'll join me over here, we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, we can tell you that Jody Michaels is salaried and deals in a service, and we'll begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Jody, would you be considered a performer in the work that you do?
Yes.
A performer in the theater?
Yes.
Are you performing at the present time in the theater?
Yes.
Are you performing in a musical comedy?
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Jody, is the show on which you're performing one of the shows that's called the Broadway show as contrasted with an off-Broadway show?
I don't think so.
And I think that's a fair answer, too. 2 down and 8 to go, Phyllis.
I just want to recap. This is a show that is currently playing the rest of the week in New York City. Is that right? Yes?
No.
Oh, it's not playing in New York City.
No, but since you asked that as a part of a recapitulation,
Oh, I can go on.
you can go on.
I see. But you are currently acting in something.
Yes.
But he is currently active. What we're trying to convey here is that he is currently active. We're not saying that he is performing as of, say, last
I
night or
understand.
tomorrow
Now,
night.
is the thing that you're performing in something that has been, is now, or will be seen on television?
It has been, but it was a special.
Oh, thank you. It has been, but it was a special. Now I have to try to find out what it was. Did it occur within the last 2 or 3 weeks?
Yes.
Was it primarily aimed for children? Was it a children's classic of some kind?
No.
That's 3 down and 7 to go. Frank Sinatra.
Do you drink, kid?
Didn't have no question.
That's 4 down and 6 to go. Arlene?
Wonderful.
This was an adult program that you were playing a child's part in?
Yes.
Was it...
Let me say here that you have now latched on to a single television performance. You would, I think...
That's the wrong
do
street.
yourself a disservice to concentrate on it too much.
I see. Well, are you then active in something that will be seen on a stage in the environment of Broadway or in New York City soon?
Yes.
Yes. It is a straight play?
No.
No.
But it's not a musical.
That's right.
Oh,
That's
it's
5. That's 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Sir.
Jody, when you appeared, do you ever raise your voice in song?
Yes.
Have you ever been in a musical on Broadway before?
No.
That's
Wait a
6 down and 4 to go, Phyllis.
I have a clue. Do you sing in something like Radio City or a Christmas pageant of something like that? Has it to do with this season? Absolutely
Down,
not.
down, down. 7
Okay.
down and 3 to go, Mr. Sinatra.
Does your father drink?
Doesn't anybody drink in your family? No, I want to ask you, you said, we clear the
That's
fact
not
that the
Christmas
show, it's
or
not a
Radio
Christmas
City.
show or a choir type singer. I give up.
I'm going to throw
You're
in the
neither
opera.
in opera, are you in some form of opera or operetta?
Lady Mouse?
Amal
take opera.
Amal and the night visitors?
Just take opera. What about the Metropolitan Opera?
Metropolitan. You sing at the Metropolitan
He's an opera singer. That's right.
Get out. Get out. I know.
No.
It's Cho-Cho-san.
Jody is 12 years old, and this is his 4th season with the Met. He sings in the chorus, sometimes does solo work, depending on the opera. He's played in, Tosca?
Tosca, Turandot, Wozzeck, Vanessa.
So you see...
You'll never get anywhere, kid. Get out in the saloons and sing in the saloons.
And he goes to school and does well in school, too. Thank you very much, Jody. It was very nice to have you with us. Nice of you to come and see us. And, Frank, while we're on the subject of music, it's a good sort of pre-Christmas present for everybody that you're going to be on with The Man and His Music, part number 2 on December the 7th on CBS.
Correct.
And we look forward to it. Thank you both for
CBS.
being with us on What's My Line. And good night, Phyllis Newby.
Good night, John. Good night,
John.
Mia, Frank, everybody.
Good night, darling.
That's better.
Good night, darling. Good night, Bennett.
It's been great.
Wherever you are, Bennett.
It's been great fun for me. Good night, John.
Hey, good night, Bennett, whoever you are. And thanks to all of you for being with us on What's My Line. Susie and Larry Blyden, it's nice to have you with us. Nice if I could say as much about Bennett, but I'm having a little trouble. We have some very interesting occupations tonight. I'm having a little trouble with the clock here. Don't mind me. I'll get it straightened out in a second, and then all will be well. There. Now she works fine. The clock is very necessary because otherwise I can't time Bennett when he's using those 3 words that don't say very much. But he usually, I must say, does get pretty close to the occupations that we present, except tonight I think he's going to have some trouble. And we'll also have a famous mystery guest before the panel a little bit later in the program. But right now, let's meet our first contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Marie France Gervais. Is that right? Is it Miss or Mrs.?
Miss.
Miss Gervais. And where are you from?
Paris, France.
From Paris, France.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, I warned the panel we were playing some tricks tonight, so I think this is a good way to start things. Miss Gervais, may I present the panel? And now, if you'll join me over here, please, ma'am. We will let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right, we will tell you, panel, that Miss Gervais is salaried and deals in a service, and we'll begin things with Bennett, sir.
Miss Gervais, just to polish off 2 obvious fields, have you anything to do with either the field of fashion or the field of entertainment?
No.
1 down and 9 to go. Arlene?
Miss Gervais, is your service one that I could use?
Certainly.
Would I come to you if I wanted this service?
Yes.
Would you in any way instruct me?
In a way, yes.
Would you ever touch me?
No.
2 down
sorry
and
to hear
8 to
that.
go. Larry Blyden.
Is your service in any way connected with a governmental function?
No.
3 down and 7 to go. Susie Knickerbocker.
We established that we would come to you, or I could come to you, Arlene could come to you for this service.
Definitely.
But you do not touch. You would not touch me if I came to you for the service.
Yeah, that's been determined that you would not.
Would you talk to me?
Yes.
Would I learn from you?
I hope so.
Then you would teach me how to do something.
Yes.
Would this something that you taught me be something mental?
Yes. Not entirely.
It would, let's say that its principal application would have to do with the processes of thought It would be a counseling. That it would necessarily teach you something specifically would depend pretty much on what degree of retentativeness you wanted to have about the particular kind of information you were getting. But,
See?
Yes.
I mean,
Oh,
so-
yes, I see. Well, your accent is so very good. Do you perhaps teach a language? No.
4 down and 6 to go. Bennett serve.
Miss Gervais, do you work for a profit-making organization?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question.
Do you work for a profit-making organization?
You do.
Yes.
I mean, you're not making much profit.
Well, I think probably this was the trouble. I don't think Miss Gervais is necessarily aware of the profit and loss sheet of the, but she, by our terms of reference, she definitely works for a profit-making
Miss
organization.
Gervais, in the course of your teaching the people for whom you're performing a service, do you do anything physical?
No.
Nope, and that's 5 down and 5 to go. I would like to note again that while I said there was an element certainly of information here which could be accepted as teaching, it would depend on the degree of retentativeness which you yourself decided to have at the time that the information was imparted. So don't be misled.
Miss Gervais, do you have anything to do with figures, numerical figures, not shapes?
No.
That makes it 6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Blyden.
Is it safe to assume that this function that you perform can be performed for French people as well as people who are tourists?
Yes.
Is it, in fact, performed for both equally?
Equally?
Yes.
Very good word, that equally. That makes it 7 down and 3 to go, Miss Knickerbocker.
Then is it perhaps performed more for tourists visiting America? No.
That makes it 8 down and 2 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Miss Gervais, have you got anything to do with either food or drink?
No.
9.
Specifically.
No. 9 down and 1 to go, Arlene Francis.
If you worked in a restaurant.
Miss Gervais, if I were traveling in France, would I contact you in order to find places to tour or see?
No.
That is 10 down, and I believe there are no more to go. That's too bad. I told you we'd be up to tricks tonight. This is going to be hard for you to believe, but Miss Gervais is a lawyer. Miss Gervais is a lawyer who took her degree at the University of Paris and is so good at law that she's presently here and expects to be in New York for a year, where she gives counsel on French law as it applies to the international part of the firm with which she is presently engaged. And I must say that I've never seen the law look so good. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
We had a very beautiful French lady lawyer on years ago, Micheline. I
We were
think
just talking
Right,
about that,
yeah.
Micheline Lerner.
She did very well for herself.
Now, yeah, I hope this will inspire a lot of our young ladies to go to law, because I think it's a great career for the distaff side. You know, women very often...
Inspire a lot of young men to go into law.
It would inspire a lot of young men, and then we'd have enough lawyers. But I think it's a great career for a woman, because while there are complaints about prejudice against women in most careers, literally the law is one where if you have the abilities, you almost inevitably will reach your goals, and it's a great career for you.
She's almost pretty enough to be against the law.
I think that's true. Well, we'll have another contestant for you in just a moment after this word. And now, let's meet our second contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Jerry Hauk. Is that right, sir? All right. Mr. Hauk, where are you from?
Pierce, South Dakota.
Pierce, South Dakota. Capital, right?
Yes.
Hey, I remembered that all the way from high school. One of the tough ones to remember, too, if I may say so. Mr. Hauk, may I introduce our panel? Now, will you join me over here, sir, and we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right. We're get these all back where they belong, and I will tell you that Mr. Houck is self-employed and deals in a product, and let's begin things with Arlene Francis.
Mr. Houck, is it a useful product?
I think so.
Is it a product that I might own?
Yes.
Well, now let me say, I take it you asked that question in the context that there would be a possibility that you individually might own this product. Is that
Why
right?
not?
Huh?
Why not?
Okay, that's 1 down and 9 to go.
I
That's
couldn't
what I thought.
possibly own it?
I don't think so, no.
You ought to see some of the things I have around the house.
No, I would be glad to give you a yes, but if we gave you a yes, it would really pull you way off
Yes,
the road,
Joe.
Arlene. Okay, that's 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Blyden.
Does this product tend to be used by men more than women?
I wouldn't say so.
No, I don't think we could say that, too, no. I think it could be, Larry, but it would be a matter of a research which is not available. That's 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Knickerbocker.
The size of this product, is it as big as the desk where you're sitting?
Yes.
Does it have any movable parts?
Yes.
I wish I knew what I were talking about. I really do. Is it part metal?
No.
That makes it 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Sir.
Mr. Houck, has your product ever been or is it now alive?
Yes.
Is it alive at the time you were dealing with it?
Yes.
Is it an animal?
Yes.
Is it a four-legged animal?
Yes.
Is it an animal that might sometimes be domesticated?
No.
No?
Yeah, I would think, if with your permission, we would agree that in reference factors which would be identical or similar, we would describe it as domesticated, yes.
Would this animal sometimes be found in a zoo as well as being domesticated occasionally?
Yes.
Is it any member of the bear family?
No.
I can hardly bear this. That's 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
I was on the trail or something.
Is it an animal whose fur is sometimes used by ladies?
Yes.
Is it, you say it's larger than the desk. Is it a animal that is found in the jungle?
No.
No jungles. 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Blythe.
Is this animal in the cattle family?
Yes.
Is this animal connected in any way with the history of this country?
Yes.
Does it have anything to do with buffalo or bison?
Yes.
Are you a buffalo herder?
I got to throw these all over. That's very good. In fact, you're all to be congratulated. We thought this would stand you in your heads. So that you're not buffaloed any longer, Mr. Houck raises buffalo. They own the largest private buffalo herd in the United States, 1,200 head, under Triple U Enterprises with his brother and his dad, and they raise it for meat, as you do with steers, you know.
Really?
I'm misled. Is there a buffalo fur? A coat
Oh,
of
yes.
buffalo?
Yeah, when I was out on the plains as a boy with Bennett, we used to go out and get the buffalo, and I'd eat the
Buffalo
meat.
hide, but I didn't know it was ever called a fur.
Oh, well, it's fur. Yeah, buffalo. Don't you remember the old buffalo hunters that always had the coats with
But
the...
they're like suede, aren't they?
Oh, no, they'd have it with the
Really, with the hair and all?
the hair on, and you'd wear the whole business. Understand they didn't cure them very well, and they were left alone pretty much, but they wore them. Is that not right, sir? Yes. That is right. Thank you very much. We didn't stick them, but we... We'll have another contestant for you in just a moment after this word. And now the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery challenger, for which, as you all know, the panel is blindfolded. Blindfolds in place, panel?
Yes, sir.
Good. Will you enter mystery challenger and sign in, please? All right, panel, as you know, a different form of questioning this time. One question in turn, moving clockwise. And we will begin things with Susie Knickerbocker.
Are you a part of the entertainment industry?
Yes. Mr. Cerf?
Do you sometimes appear on other pages as well as the entertainment pages? Has your name appeared in other pages as well as entertainment pages in recent months?
Yes. Arlene?
Would the other pages be sport pages?
No. 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Blyden.
Do you appear in films mostly?
Yes. Miss Knickerbocker?
I'm going to guess.
Mm-hmm.
George Hamilton?
Yeah, well, I figured when Bennett asked the question that we probably weren't getting away with anything because you're beginning to film the Jack of Diamonds.
That's right.
Right here in New York.
It was a good chance to start my accents. I play about five or six different accents in the picture, and you had to guess it.
Yes, all right. Well, now, let's have some of the accents.
Well, I play a Frenchman part of the time, and an Italian, and a German, an Englishman. So.
Well, give us the Germanischer job now.
Well, I have the accent like this. I speak like this. I am the jewel thief by working here.
George Hamilton.
Well, I tell you, George, let's...
It doesn't seem to fool them, though.
Let's try French.
Well, French, I started out with perhaps a little, how do you say, French, working, but Susie Knickerbocker, Eileen Mellet.
Hey, wonderful. Say Susie Knickerbocker in Italian.
Susie Knickerbocker.
Well, I must say, I'm not trying to paint any lilies, but we have been working, you know, with might and main, principally, I must add, inspired by the mayoralty of the city, to draw some more of the production of the movies to New York.
Well,
it is growing, isn't it?
It is growing. This is the first, I believe, German production that will be filmed here and Paris and in Germany. And I think it'll be an interesting idea for the Europeans to make some of the films over here rather than we always having to go over there to make the films. So we start pretty soon.
Is it fair to ask you, since you're shooting here and in France and in Germany, what percentage of the picture is associated with each locale? Is it pretty much divided up?
Actually, I think the jewel thief makes his robberies in all three places. But actually, being a German picture, we spent 2 months in Munich. So we film it there.
That's tough.
George, would I be out of order if I asked you if I could hear your Texan accent?
I tell you what, if I could go and spend a couple of months in Munich, I'd learn to talk Texas or anything else you wanted. That's a wonderful country. And thanks for using New York, and we hope you have a lot of fun and a very successful
Proud
picture.
to see you. Proud to meet you.
Glad to have you all here with us, sir. Considering the tricks we've pulled, you've done rather well so far tonight, panel, and we'll have another contestant after this word. And now a final contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Richard Choi, right, sir? Mr. Choi, where are you from?
So, Korea.
From Korea?
Yes.
And are you working there now, or are you living in the United States?
Living here.
You're living here in the United States now. Well, it's nice to have you with us. Mr. Choi, may I present the panel? Will you join me over here, sir? And we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, we can tell you that Mr. Choi is self-employed and deals in a product. And let's begin the festivities with Larry Blyden.
Mr. Choi, is this product useful rather than a luxury item?
No.
No. That's 1 down and 9 to go. Miss Knickerbocker.
Can women use this luxury item?
Yes.
Is it a luxury item that's found in the house?
Yes.
Is it found in one particular section of the house more than another?
No.
I wouldn't say so. I don't think that we could isolate it to the point that we could say you'd find it in one section of the house to the exclusion of any other section of the house. If you don't mind, Susie, I'll give you a note. 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Sir.
Mr. Choi, since John Daly didn't say so, I'll say it's a joy to have you on the program with us.
And now we all understand why John Daly didn't say it, too.
Mr. Choi, is the product with which you're connected ever worn as either adornment or clothing of some sort?
Yes.
Would it be very valuable?
Give us a determination of value, Bennett.
Well, might this be in the jewelry or pearl neighborhood?
No, it's not in pearls, jewels or pearls. That's 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Mr. Choi, when one wears this, is it seen?
Yes.
Is it seen above the waist?
Yes.
Is it seen in the neighborhood of the neck?
Yes.
How big a neighborhood does your neck have?
Depends on how big a neck you have. Great neck or little neck.
But, I mean, we would need to know, when you say neighborhood, would you give us some idea of what you have in mind?
The shoulders.
Just in the shoulders. That's the neighborhood
No, I
of the
mean,
neck.
would it be seen around the shoulders?
Thank you very
It
much.
would
That's
not.
4 down and 6 to go, Larry Blyden.
Is this, in fact, an article of clothing?
No. That's 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Knickerbocker.
Is this product worn on the head?
You mean up here?
Up here.
Up here? Goodbye. That's 6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Sir.
Well, now, it is worn above the neck, though, is it not, Mr. Choi?
Yes.
Then it's worn somewhere around the face.
Yes.
Is it worn above the mouth?
Yes.
Is it worn above the nose?
Yes.
Is it worn above the eye, around the eyes or above the eyes?
Yes.
Well, that leaves the eyes and the forehead, doesn't it?
It does indeed.
Is it somewhere around the eyes?
Yes.
Ah. And does it help the eyesight of the person who is wearing it?
Dum-de-dum-dum. 7 down and 3 to go, Miss Francis.
But it is definitely in the area of the eyes.
Rather.
That's been decided. Now, is it all right if I rule out false eyelashes?
No, it's not all right. Mr. Choi is the manufacturer of Richard lashes. Makes only eyelashes, and he makes them in colors, which is something to think about. And they're made in Korea. He has a plant at home in which 200 people are employed, and this is great because it helps the economy and helps our ladies over here look handsomer. Thank you very much, Mr. Choi. Nice to have you. And so, once again, Susie, it's wonderful to have had you with us, and
Thank
Larry,
you,
too.
John.
Hope you had some fun. I told you it was going to be tough tonight.
Wonderful.
And good night, Miss Arlene Francis.
Thank you. Good night, Larry, and very good luck Tuesday night.
Thank you very much. Good night, Susie.
Good night, Larry, dear. Good night, Bennett.
Always like to have you on the show, Susie.
Thank you.
And you, too, you choious fellow. Good night, John.
Joyous fellow, really. 2 off 1 is not fair, Bennett. It's not fair. We don't have a chance to recover that way. But it's been nice having all of you here, and nice to have all of you with us. Thanks for being with us.